Well, some of Donald Trump's closest allies have slammed his decision to pardon the worst offenders from Jan 6, including those who assaulted police and incited violence. It comes as at least 2 of the pardoned have already reoffended.
They're the images that shocked the world.
They broke the glass. Everybody stay down. Get down.
Nearly 1,600 people charged over the January 6 insurrection, 700 with violent crimes like using a weapon or assaulting police.
They called me a traitor, telling me to remember my oath. I was beaten, crushed, kicked, punched, surrounded. Someone reached underneath my visor, tried to gouge out my eye.
All of them freed, all but 14 pardoned in an instant by the man they'd been rioting for.
They've served years in jail, and murderers don't even go to jail in this country.
The 14 convicted of sedition, inciting violence against the government, instead had sentences of up to 22 years in jail commuted. All members of far-right groups the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers.
The message that these pardons send to these groups, they have to be doubly wary about what they can do to our society.
You want to fight? You better bleed! You cowboy!
Overnight, some of Trump's staunchest supporters slammed his decision to release the most violent offenders.
I do not like it when President Trump pardoned people who beat up cops.
Some are already reoffending. One of the pardoned killed by Indiana police while resisting arrest in a traffic stop. Another detained again on gun charges. Others among the pardoned are speaking out, rejecting the president's move.
The message is, if I took a pardon, that what I did that day was okay. They were criminals, they broke the law, I broke the law. Pay the price.
While others rejoice.
It's a wonderful day. It's been a great day for our country and for the healing that's going to come next.
Jenny McCombs, who we just saw there, copped a fine and 2 months probation for her part in the riots, for which she has been pardoned, and she's here to tell us more. Jenny, like a lot of people, we watched the Capitol riots from the other side of the world, and some of the pictures were quite confronting. Take us back to that day. What was it like actually being there?
So being there was one of the most beautiful patriotic things that I have ever been a part of, and I don't regret a single part of it. I walked through the West Terrace door, which was opened by police officers, and they were motioning people inside, which is called entrapment. And I wound up being inside the Capitol for 19 minutes, always between the velvet ropes. And I was in the hallway above where Ashley Babbitt was murdered by Capitol Police Officer Lieutenant Michael Byrd. And people were coming out with blood on their hands saying that they killed a girl. And that's when I decided to exit the Capitol through the east side, past police officers on both sides, through an open door, just like I'd come in.
So, Jenny, it sounds like you played a pretty minor role, but among those that Donald Trump has pardoned are the most violent offenders on January 6, some of whom are the leaders of some pretty dangerous groups. Do you think that he was wrong to pardon those people?
I don't think that Donald Trump was wrong to pardon those people, because I trust that his legal team reviewed all of the different cases as they said that they did. I know that the 2 groups that you're referencing are the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys. And those 2 organizations have been especially demonized by the media, who has played the same 5 violent clips about them over and over and over for the last 4 years. But if you actually take the time to look at the court documents and to read the transcripts of the trials like I have, and to talk to the actual people and to see the body cam footage from the police officers' body cameras, then you see a very different story. And unfortunately, that information has not gotten out in our country, or much less across the world.
So it sounds like what you're saying then is ultimately we can't trust the courts, we can't trust the justice system, but we can trust a politician, we can trust the president to look at it and administer justice on his own. That seems like an unusual message for someone who is suspicious of government. Well, OK, I'd be interested in explaining how it's different to that.
That is not at all what I'm saying. If you look at the difference between people that were charged with violence or assaulting police officers for January 6th compared to people that had the exact same charge. For example, the BLM and the Antifa riots that happened via the Summer of Love with George Floyd and all of that in 2020. If you look at how those people were prosecuted compared to the people from January 6th for allegedly the exact same crimes, then you can begin to see the disparity of justice in that situation. So I think what January 6th has shown overall is that we have a weaponized Department of Injustice in the United States of America that has very clearly gone after conservative Americans and a specific sect of Americans that support President Trump.
Right, so isn't that exactly what I just said? You can't trust the justice system, but you can trust President Trump to look at all of these cases and decide for himself who deserved to be punished and who didn't.
Actually, no, because the Department of Injustice, as I call it, and President Trump also calls it, is something that's going to be reformed because unfortunately in America, we do not have free and fair and equal justice as we claim to have.
Jenny, so you've started a charity for January 6ers to help them rehabilitate, housing them on your property and finding them jobs. What's compelled you to do that?
Well, as a January 6th defendant and somebody who has experienced death threats for over 2 years and attacks on my previous business and things like that, I feel led by God to develop something called the J6 Road Home Project, to where we can house and feed and employ the January 6th defendants as they get out of prison and help them rebuild their lives. Because when it comes down to it, I don't believe that any person, regardless of what crime they have been allegedly charged with, I don't think that any one of them should have their entire life and their entire future dictated by the choices that they made one day. I think everybody deserves second chances, and that's what it is that we're providing here.
Yeah, I think just about everyone would agree with that sentiment, Jenny, and there definitely shouldn't be people threatened with violence for really any event that has occurred in civil society. Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate you speaking to us.
Thank you.